If you get invited to a pool party by black people, you will find it amazing. And the amazing part is that we don't actually get in the pool.
No.
It's just a piece. It's like a
Right.
conversation.
It's the
like
theme.
it's a gathering
It's the
place.
theme.
And we gather around it.
And we dress to it.
We dress accordingly. So
Yes.
you could come in your bathing suit.
You might have the cute wrap.
You might have your cute wrap.
And if you're a guy,
Black
you got
folks
the
gonna-
matching shirt with the pants.
Listen, let me tell you something. My folks, my tribe, would be cute like a mug.
That's
We're going
right.
to have a great bathing suit. We're
That's
going to
it.
have a great wrap.
Hat. Sunnies.
Sunnies.
Yeah.
You understand? Might even have matching towel. But that's just the part of the fit.
Right.
We don't actually need a towel unless it's hot.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then we dab a little bit because it's a little hot.
Okay. My guy is here. I'm the student today. Sometimes I'm the teacher, but today I think I'm going to be the student. And Dondre Whitfield is here, actor, Queen Sugar. You can Google him; he's done a bunch. But really recognized. Three times Emmy nominated.
3 times.
Sorry,
I lost 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
what
what
does
that
that
means.
tell you? You get to the you define it as what did I lose, right? I've got 2 Emmy nomination plaques on my wall, but only because the show got nominated and they put me in the list. So I diminish that all the time.
Right.
My point is, as an actor, you've made your bones, you've done
Yes,
your
sir.
thing, but that's not where we met.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about what we will get into is that there are forces bringing people together, and you don't have anything to say about it.
Yep.
So I guess I met you first through the NBA E-League when
Yes.
we were playing basketball there, or
Yep.
you were playing basketball. I had a jersey because my shit was not that good. I'm better now. But you're the second podcast I've done today where I've had to admit that y'all have been tolerant with me on the court, but at least I stay in my lane. But you can play. Dondre's an athlete.
you.
But there was a tribe of us that got to play in this. It was a league sponsored by the NBA.
Yeah.
Got all the gear, but it
Yeah.
became a family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you specifically have a team, Chris Spencer and you and all these guys that I also am friends with. But to you, it's a real family that you guys have supported each other and grown each other up since. But to me, you were that guy in that group who always had the jokes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And some guys were like Ennie Clemens, I talked about earlier today. Ennie was always a little like broody and serious.
Yeah.
And Chris Spencer's got jokes, but always had, something going on. And
Yeah.
you always made me laugh. I remember Ennie had a poker tournament around Christmas time for his school.
Yep.
And you were there and we were
Yep.
at the same table. And,
Yep.
and so that's been our relationship. But then after George Floyd,
Yeah.
and the world was upside down.
Yeah.
Father's Day was around that time, and you have been answering a calling that I was less than aware of. I knew your vibe because I felt you, right? As a brother, I felt you, and
Yeah.
you felt me, and we know each other in that way. But you stepped up, and so you put together a march downtown, Fathers United, I think it was called, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was on Father's Day, but it was really in the wake of and an answer to the unrest and upset. And the thing that I loved about you is that we all marched in solidarity through downtown,
Yes.
chanting and carrying signs and doing everything. But you brought, for me, the awareness of our actions and our lives are being viewed by our children.
Yes.
And we have a responsibility there, which I've always taken seriously for me. But me, as a guy who passes as white, it depends on who you ask, because I'm Jewish. Some people don't call me white.
Right.
My life is easier.
Mm-hmm.
My parenting and my choices are easier. And I don't care what you think about me saying that. So, but it is what is in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But that responsibility is no less important to me. It's just easier for me to have models of that in my culture, in my life. But my children have always been first. I knew I was raising a king with my son. I knew that I was raising a queen of power with my daughter and with my wife's help. But you speak to that on a much deeper level in a much more needed area. So let me get out of the way and start teaching me some shit.
Man, I love that you, language is a very powerful tool. In my book, Male versus Man, I talk about how there are two types of language, protein and kerosene. Protein language builds people up. Kerosene language burns people down. And there's really no space for us to go anywhere if we're constantly in the practice of using kerosene language with each other. So when you said, we've known each other from a space of, of being brothers, that really means something to me, because we have to be the architects of society, because we really do have to put this back together, because it's been fractured for so long, not even fractured, it's been broken for so long that we fail to see the humanity in each other. And when we fail to see the humanity in each other, then we've got no place to go.
There's nowhere. As a matter of fact, I would even argue in America, it's not that it was broken at some point. It was established as a chasm.
Yes.
It never was a together.
That's right.
It was for some of us.
That's why I never say the United States. I always say America, because we're not united in anything.
Yeah, we would take state as opposed to geographical and make it emotional.
Yeah.
Because we're in not United States of emotion and perception.
Yeah, I feel like what's interesting is in that, I'll take the reference of basketball and put that to use, because it's very useful. When are the times that you've ever experienced people who don't look like each other experiencing sameness? That's at a sporting event.
And especially basketball, which is the unspoken language of
If you're
music.
wearing the same jersey, if you're wearing the same cap, I don't care. That person could be black, white, Latino, could be Jewish, Catholic, Protestant, could be Democrat, Republican, independent. You got people high-fiving each other and hugging because they perceive themselves to be on the same team. And ironically, it really does something to me that we can't see each other as being on the same team, and we all experience the same struggles.
Preach. And there's a simplicity in what you said that I would like to take a second on, because this is a nugget. We put on a jersey, not metaphorical, but an actual jersey.
Yeah.
And for those 40 minutes,
yep,
we have a bond that's like, we are going to fight to a bloody death sometimes.
And I'm going to do anything for you.
Right. And that's because, but there's two sides of that coin that I'm going to try to get through this without crying. But we are so in need of tribe and team. We crave it and create it even in superficial places like a basketball court.
Yes.
And yet that same concept also separates us, that you're not on my team.
Totally.
And it's the fear of the other team.
Yep.
That is the chasm we spoke of, or the brokenness we spoke
Totally.
of. And so like when we did the march that you fostered, you brought the people from your world to a place.
Yeah, man.
And it was one of those situations, I talked about this earlier on a different episode, but there are people in my world that when you call and say, I have a favor to ask, my answer is yes before I know what I've committed to.
Yep.
And everybody at that march were those people for you.
Man.
Right?
Yes.
What I find fascinating and sad, and hopefully you can shed some light on where we go from here, is that the part of us that yearns for that connection, and we refer to each other on Facebook and Instagram all the time as brothers.
As brothers.
And not throwing it around like jargon.
Not at all.
For me, it's a thing.
Yes, sir.
I need to communicate to you that, and this is the uncomfortable thing, when men get intimate with each other, y'all going to get a little fucked up behind this, but you're going to have to deal with this. But for whatever reason, and the minutes we spent together are not that many, but
Right.
for whatever reason, I love you.
Yes, likewise.
And I don't know why, and it's okay.
I know why.
Okay. But my point is, the thing that we yearn for the most
Yes.
is this.
Yes.
Is also the thing that keeps us from having it with others that aren't like us.
Yes.
So teach me.
The reason why we know that we love each other is because we recognize in each other the part of us that does everything that we can do to move the needle for humanity.
That's it. The
And
sameness.
the sameness.
Same intention.
And this is the recognition that so many, oh my gosh, I am like flush with emotions because I experience as a black man in this country, I don't think that any person could be more safe in my presence. Your children, your women, your animals, anything.
Your animals, your home.
They couldn't be more safe.
Right.
And yet there are times where I show up in society and I'm immediately deemed as
A threat.
And
Did you feel what I felt out in the parking lot?
Oh man, it was crazy.
I'm wondering if you were hip to what I went through in that moment. So I just finished the episode with a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
Who are black.
Yes.
And we were out there hanging out in this residential neighborhood in a predominantly white area.
Yep.
And the door opens to the house we're standing in front of.
Yes. Yes.
And a black man walked out of the door.
Yep.
But in the moment when the door opened up, did you feel what I felt of concern? Like,
For sure.
and then the relief?
For sure. For sure. Like, and there's no way. I think that that's the part that saddens me the most is that I have to have that awareness.
Okay.
That's the part that saddens me the most. Rather than immediately have the recognition of there's a brother or a sister of humanity in my presence and I'm good.
Yeah.
I have to have
Instantly. You have to be.
another consciousness and awareness. And that's the part.
I grew up in South Carolina. I, for all intents and purposes, am a white guy and have all the benefits and privilege of that. Although viewed by my peers, not so.
Right.
Which only is to say that that's given me only a crack of a door of a possibility of understanding the experience.
Yes. That's the part that's so necessary, though.
But I don't pretend to know the experience.
Yes.
But I can hear it.
Yes.
And so, so moments like that, I feel instantly too, and was wondering if you felt that moment right when the door opened.
Can I tell you that as a brother, like I think that that's the part that really just peels back all the layers of my heart for you, because it's not that I'm not upset or angry with you for having the ability to experience something that I can't, but it opens up my heart when I hear you say, I recognize what the problem is.
I recognize the difference of the roads that we travel.
No question.
Right.
And that really, for most people of color, black people in particular, is sort of the thing that we don't hear often enough from our brothers and sisters that don't look like us. You're almost made to feel like it's a figment of your imagination when nothing could be further from the truth. And so again, it feels like in this world, but in particular our country, America, we're allergic to the truth.
Worse today than ever.
Worse today than ever.
Where we now believe everything is a deep state fake. We're allergic to the truth, and we deny the truth even was a thing.
And guess what? The only thing that moves us to a space of unification, a space of sameness, oneness, tribe,
Connection.
is truth.
Is the truth even when it's ugly.
Yeah. If you're with your wife and you guys are experiencing something difficult, the way to reconnect is not to lie. The way to reconnect is to tell the truth. So in any relationship, truth is key. So how could it possibly be that we as brothers and sisters first of all, there's no black race, there's no white race, there's one race. There's the human race, and we are all different colors
by region
and
mutation.
That's all we're really talking about.
And when we talk about family tree, how far back you want to zoom?
Oh, no. How far? Look. You'll get your feelings hurt. But again, you'll only get your feelings hurt by examining what the truth is. And the truth is that I am you and you are me.
That's right. And everything you fear in me is your own fear that I had nothing to do with.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
Nothing to do with it.
And guess what? Black people are not out here trying to tell white folks, look, I hate you because of what your ancestors did, because not anybody in their right mind.
Because that's a big leap already.
That's a leap already. So no one in their right mind is telling you that I hate you because of what your ancestors did. What we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, and I encourage everyone. So a good friend of mine, Mara Brock-Akil, who is a writer, executive producer of shows like Girlfriends and other Game and Being Mary Jane. Mm-hmm. She produced a documentary that's on Netflix right now called Stamped from the Beginning. So quickly, without going into deep, what they talk about is a happening in America's history called Bacon's Rebellion, where enslaved Africans and indentured slaves from Europe rebelled against the socially elite and fought together side by side.
You're talking about like Irish indentured servants.
Indentured servants.
Right.
Fought side by side with enslaved Africans. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they recognize you're not my enemy.
Right.
The enemy is this person here who subjects us to, these horrible conditions for the sake of building their wealth off of our backs.
And the next part of that is, and then convinced one side of us poor people to hate the other so that we're at odds.
Yes. And so what happened was, after that, the socially elite said, whoa, we barely got out of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make these people, the indentured slaves,
right,
servants, feel like they're us, feel
right,
oneness, sameness. Right. So they passed laws, which gave them privilege. So now they said, oh, wait a second. We're not you. We're better than them.
Right. But that helps their bottom line. When I say they're the social elite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we've gotten a large portion of us that really we are the same, because we're struggling with the same conditions.
It's an economic situation.
Without a doubt.
Feeding kids.
And this is why I ask people all the time, what's more important, perception or reality?
Come on.
And people go, reality. I go, no. Perception is, because your perception becomes your reality. So if you perceive that you're better than me, then you will act accordingly, right? But if you perceive that we are same, that we are tribe, you will behave accordingly. Mm. So we will build with each other, right? And not try to break each other. This way of seeing each other, now, by the way, that's back in the 1600s.
Got it.
We're in 2023.
Right.
Sound familiar? It's the exact same perception.
Which speaks to, like, when they talk about alcoholism, is a progressive disease that you can stop drinking, and 30 years later, if you take it up, it doesn't pick up where you left off. It had progressed all along.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about here.
That's right.
Is that what that was in the 1600s lived on this infancy of divide.
Yep.
But has not stopped growing like a cancer.
Yep.
And manifesting, and not only has it grown, but the perception and justification and explanation and apology of has also grown in myth
Yep.
through all that time. And what you're talking about is this is a really interesting concept that applies not just in race relation, but in everything. But if you actually sit in what we know to be true, even if it's ugly, even if you're on the wrong side of that truth, at least there is a place you can build a foundation of brick.
Man, you can fix anything with the truth. But you just gotta face the truth. You just talked about addiction. How does an addict recover? By facing the truth that I am an addict. This is the problem. How do I fix the problem without...
What's step one, Robbie? You've got a mic. Robbie's 40 years sober. I can bust her chop. What's the first step in the 12 step?
Well, by the grace of God, on next week, I'll be 40 years.
But answer just that question. What's the line?
I am powerless over drugs and alcohol, and my life is unmanageable. But what you're talking about, the truth you're talking about, facing the truth is why do I need to use and medicate? Because it's a solution for my fear, for my everything.
But what I wanted to, the only thing I wanted to ask you is that in what is become the go-to way to recover from addiction or manage addiction would be 12-step programs. The first thing in it is accept the truth. You have to say in a room, I'm Mark and I'm an alcoholic.
No question. Yes, to your innermost being, you have to accept.
Now watch this. We're talking about the first step and talking about that I'm powerless, right? Yes and no. I'm powerless if I don't face the truth.
As soon as I face the truth, I gain
you understand? I empower myself as soon as I face the truth.
Absolutely.
She's been sober for 40 years. Why? Facing the truth
every morning,
in
my house,
morning,
whether I want to hear it or not.
That's right. That's right.
So you can sit here and we can say powerless, right? But now we got to get specific. I'm powerless if I don't face the truth. But as soon as I face the truth, I empower myself.
You're standing in power.
Yes, indeed. And not only do I empower myself, but guess what? I begin to empower other people around me.
So now this is
because I become a model that other people can mirror.
So now I want to talk about what your work is that is the extension of this. So what I've experienced and what you're talking about is when you step in a truth, even an uncomfortable truth, even a sinful truth. The stepping into the truth is talking about something that isn't a today thing, but a past thing.
Yeah.
And then at the moment that you do that, as you've said, you now have stepped onto a platform of power.
Yep.
Because now we can at least now that we've identified the evil, or even the good, the truth.
Yep.
We know what the truth is. We can now work towards a continuing new truth.
Yep.
But the power that is overlooked is not a personal journey, but that everything we're doing affects everyone around us.
Yes.
You talk a lot about raising kings.
Yes.
And you're raising one who's a scratch golfer. So,
oh man, listen.
I wish you were my dad, but that's another story.
You use the word that, again, I'm a language person.
Me too.
So you use the word sin as it relates to truth. The sin is not the truth of the past. The sin is not facing the truth.
The sin is denying
that's the sin.
It was.
See, and everybody is running from it because they think that the true sin is that the truth of the past is so and so. We all know what that is. The true sin is not facing the truth so that we can unlock and uncover how we now go about redating each other as human beings, right? As a
redating as in dating like I'm dating or redating like chronologically.
So dating as in I coach couples, particularly couples that have been together for a while, been married, they're going through it, they're trying to figure out how to rekindle. So the reason why you guys are struggling is because you stopped dating.
I see. Dating in the romantic sense.
Yeah, you're no longer, see, look, when you go through a dating stage And I'm not going to miss the point about my son. We'll get back to this. All comes back to
I'm
it.
in a hurry. I got somewhere to be in like
cyclical.
April, so don't worry about it.
So the dating part of your life with your partner is about discovery. Dating is about discovery.
Okay.
So as soon as you are in relationship,
and I've discovered,
I know everything there is to know about you. So I no longer have to date you.
Right.
Dating also is, I need to win
your affection,
your trust, your
respect.
love.
Yeah.
Once we're married, once we're in a relationship, I no longer have to do that.
I'm not playing the game because I've won it already.
I've already won.
Yeah.
Where are you going? We're married. What are we doing? What I try to remind myself every single day with my wife is that one of the things that I hear most often in talking with my couples is, yeah, he's changed. And she's changed. And I go, amen. Amen. And they're like, and they freeze.
Yeah.
Because I go, if the problem would be,
come on, say
if
what
they didn't change. Now if you're telling me that they've changed for the worse, that's another conversation.
Well,
and we can address that.
You know what? You coach couples. I play a coach on TV, but it's real to me.
Yes.
And we say the same thing.
Yes.
With different language, sometimes same language. But the fact is that I think people don't get. You talk about the dating period, and then once it's discovered, then we get to this thing.
Yeah.
I think it's important for couples to realize that this entire thing is fluid. The entire thing is change.
Yeah.
Always change.
Yeah, man.
Even the bad change can be good.
Yeah. Now, watch this. So let's say when the two of you get together, whatever your bad thing is, or whatever that thing is that you bond over that is less than great, someone's going to go on a journey of discovering greatness.
Okay.
So if the two of you get together and both of you have a GED, someone has the brilliant idea of furthering their education. And they say, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some classes at the local college, and then I'm going to get my associates. BA. And then my BA.
Right.
And then I'm going to go get my master's.
Right.
The person who still has a GED is actually not very happy.
And getting triggered.
And let me tell you why. Not about the fact that they're not happy for you.
What does that mean about me?
But now there's something about me and my journey that comes up in the reflection of what you do.
And I might now impose upon you things. I'm going to try to put water on your light.
Yes.
I'm going to diminish what you've accomplished to make me I'm going to stand on you to be taller.
Yeah. So now some people may not understand that. Okay, great. Let's say two people get together and they smoke cigarettes. Now somebody goes on a journey of saying, I'm going to break my addiction. Who goes outside now to smoke? Do I get to stay inside to smoke? Because now it affects you. You don't smoke anymore. Oh, so now I'm upset. Oh, so now I can't smoke around you? Well, your smoke triggers me because I've quit smoking. So now all of those things that would otherwise be something great take on a negative connotation based on what I'm now experiencing because I'm still stuck in that same state of being where we first met. So now I don't like this version of you because it reminds me of something I haven't done yet.
Robbie is off camera right now, but she's mouthing to me something. She's a big reader of lots of spiritual stuff, but one of the teachers that Robbie loves is Ram Dass. Ram Dass, but the quote I always use with Ram Dass comes into this, which is the only thing I can do for you in relationship is work on me.
That's it.
And the only thing you can do for me is work on you.
Okay, so now watch this. Thank you, Robin.
Well, the other I wanted to contribute here because there's so many trainings you can go do. You could go do Landmark Forum. You could go do this. You could go do that.
Yep.
But it's so important for couples to do that together.
Yeah.
and do that work at the same time.
Or
Because
whatever
if somebody
work.
does
Or
go,
some kind of work.
right,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the curriculum is. It's what we're talking about is growth is going to happen like this.
No
Go
question.
back to the point you were making, but growth may happen independently.
Yes.
But if one doesn't continue,
It can happen independently, but it should be happening simultaneously.
Well, because
You
if
understand?
one
That's right.
person in the relationship, it's going to shift the relationship.
Never going to work.
Right.
So watch this. I tell my couples, I said, look, if you want a fantastic relationship, here's what you need to do. I want you to say this to yourself, the two of you, individually. I am the problem, but I am also the solution. Because if I am the problem and I fix me, I fixed half of our problem.
it's exactly that quote.
It's that.
I can't control you
I cannot control you.
or your choices.
I can't fix you. It's not even my assignment. It's not even my assignment.
It's not my job to make you happy.
It's not.
It's
period.
impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely impossible.
It's why most
for
couples
me
get into trouble.
to make you happy.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
I can't tell you how many couples come in and they say, well, you know, as soon as we fix him or as soon as we fix her, then that person who does that is usually my project.
Yeah. Well, Robbie's phrase, Robbie has a lot of stuff that she's learned through all the work. Some of them are cliches, but they all ring true. Is that when I'm pointing my finger at you, three are pointing back at me.
Without a doubt.
And that, but what Robbie's saying, but what you're alluding to is that it's scary when you mentioned change earlier. And in relationship, change can be a scary thing.
Yeah.
When we both changed together, we both took a seminar, we both saw something, we went to a money guru and that's great or whatever. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's a bonding thing. We both took on pickleball. We changed and started being athletic. It's great. When one person makes a leap or a change and that the other hasn't done yet, we now get to make a choice in a relationship. It could break us up.
Yep.
But, and so what you're saying is when you're coaching, you look at that person who's stagnant, the one who's resistant, I like to use that word resistant.
Definite.
And that's what we're going to work on.
Yes.
How do we as a couple, I'm asking questions that I have answers to for myself, but I'd like to hear your take on it. But how do couples allow growth in the other, even if it's in a direction that wouldn't have been the choice? Because really, in a healthy relationship, we want our others to be the fullest version of themselves.
Yes.
Even if it isn't my version of you.
That's right.
How do we reconcile that?
See, that is such a great question. The simple answer is that I want for you what I want for myself, which is I want to be healthy, I want to be whole, and I want to be happy. So if
do you guys get the simplicity of that? And do you get, and stay with me, do you get that we don't like simplicity?
No, we don't.
Because in the complicated explanation comes justification for the shit we're in.
That's right. That's
Sound right to you?
Without a doubt. When you peel back all the layers, see, we find camouflage in all of the...
Come on.
You understand?
Do I understand?
I can hide in all the complexities.
Absolutely.
But if I peel back all the layers and I get simple about it,
simple,
healthy, whole, happy, that's it. If I want it for you, I want it for you because I want it for myself.
And by the way, if you have it, I got it.
How about it?
Right.
That actually gives me permission. If you have it, it gives me permission to pursue it.
That's a similar version of something I've been preaching lately that I want to try on you, which I talk about to connect, we need to be vulnerable, but I'll go first.
Oh my gosh.
And by doing that, what I'm doing is making what I like to call an agreement of intimacy. And that could be change, but you see what I'm saying?
Totally.
Is that somebody's got to go first.
Somebody got to go. Man. Okay, so watch this. So I'm about to tell on my tribe a little bit.
Go ahead.
My sub tribe.
They'll
Black
forgive
people, I don't know if you've ever been to, you might Mark, because you got homies in your tribe. You feel me? So if you ever go to if black people ever invite you to a pool party,
Go ahead.
Okay. If black people ever invite you to a pool party, we don't actually get in the pool. You understand?
That's not, yeah.
To all my black people in the space right now, you guys are laughing right now harder than them because you know it's true.
Yeah.
If you get invited to a pool party by black people, you will find it amazing. And the amazing part is that we don't actually get in the pool.
No.
It's just a piece. It's like a conversation.
It's a
like
theme.
It's a gathering place.
It's the thing.
And we gather around it.
And we dress to it.
We dress accordingly. So
Yes.
you could come in your bathing suit.
You might have the cute wrap.
You might have your cute wrap.
And if you're a guy,
Black
you got
folks
the
got-
matching shirt with the pants.
Listen, let me tell you something. My folks, my tribe, would be cute like a mug.
That's
We're going
right.
to have a great bathing suit. We're
That's
going to
it.
have a great wrap.
Hat.
Sunnies.
Yeah.
You understand? Might even have matching towel. But that's just the part of the fit.
Right.
We don't actually need a towel unless it's hot. Yeah. You feel me? And then we dab a little bit because it's a little hot.
Okay.
Our women don't want to get the hair wet. You're not
No.
messing with that.
No.
Okay? And then dudes like, okay, now we get in there, somebody else is getting in there. I'm like, what's with can two dudes get in there?
Yeah.
So we got a whole thing.
Right.
You understand?
I do.
We suffer from a lot.
I do.
Okay. But here's what I have noticed.
Okay.
If one person does get in,
Oh, now preach.
you understand? Because you said first.
That's exactly it.
I talk about this specifically. I use this specifically in my teachings. You have to be the person who is willing to go first. I talk to my kids often, which one are you, sheep or shepherd?
Come on.
Because the shepherd is the one that the sheep follow. Somebody has to get in that water. The water's nice.
And everybody knows it's nice.
Everybody knows that they felt it. They look.
And I'm
The
hot.
thing that people, particularly my tribe, my tribe will immediately walk over to the water because we don't do cold water.
Right.
I'm just telling you right now, we don't do.
She won't
We don't
either.
do.
I don't do cold water.
So you're a part of my tribe.
But you know what I want to say is,
Wait, don't break
Oh,
the-
it's
Yeah,
so
well,
it's so
go
good.
ahead. No,
It's
go
so
ahead.
good.
Go ahead.
If I take off my mask
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
I give you permission
To
to take
do the
off
same.
yours.
No question.
And that's it.
No question.
So,
Because watch this.
We'll go back
They
to this.
come
They
over.
go
no,
in there, put the foot in the water.
They listen. What we're really touching. You think that we are touching the water to give us permission to get in?
Yeah.
We're feeling the water to give us permission to stay out. You understand?
We're acknowledging that it's there, and then we're saying to the group, we're choosing not to go
we're
in.
secretly hoping that the water is cold so that we can say the reason why we don't
go,
get in
oh, no.
is that water too cold. I don't do cold water.
Normally I'd
we
be
don't
in.
do dirty or cold water,
Which is not wrong.
which is not wrong. That's not wrong. I'm just telling you. So we take. Oh man,
In my tribe,
So-
the white people are like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is cold.
This is cold.
Oh, let's get in.
The Polar Club.
Polar Bear
We don't-
Club.
How many
Fuck is a
times?
Polar Bear Club?
The Polar Bear Club? Let's just keep it real. How many times? I dare you to Google this. Google all the videos and the pictures of all of the Polar Bear Clubs. Say, how many black folks you seeing there?
The polar bear is
We
white.
don't do-
Even the polar bear is
Even
white.
the polar bears. Bro, we don't do cold water.
No. Why should you?
So even when black folks, when we feel the water and it's nice, we go, okay, that's nice. So now we just hoping somebody don't go, well, you should get in. Because now we got to come up with something.
yeah.
But
I would, but I just ate. and
Yes.
I get a cramp.
But the minute that you get in, you give people permission to get in. Now watch this. Now I'm going to take this back to relationships.
Come on.
I tell people all the time, I am the leader of my house, and it sets the room on fire. Because what they think I'm saying is I'm the leader because I'm the man. Nope.
No.
I'm the leader because I go first.
I will be vulnerable. I'll be stupid.
I go first all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. For my wife, for my kids. I'm the first one to do it. To give everybody else permission to do it. That's what makes me the leader. Why? Because I go first and everybody follows me.
What you unlock there.
I never tell people what to do.
You don't
I show them what to do. Good leaders
you
don't do
show
that.
them what to do. You give them permission to do what they want to do.
Totally.
My son is an example of this.
Yep.
And one of the things that you and I share is great pride in our children.
Yes, sir.
And I always joke and say that greatness skips a generation because my progeny have outshone me well beyond genetic. It's a genetic mutation, what my kids have done. I know what I gave them, and Robbie has helped in a little bit.
Right.
What they've done with it is a different thing. My son is in the Navy. He's a Navy pilot. And what I found that he does is what you're talking about. He will make a game of even the worst situation. And when he does that, when he says, so they're on the ship and it's miserable, and he's like, so, but what if we do, I want to make a production number for the big thing we're doing on the weekend.
Right.
And you'd have 30 pilots go, nah, I don't do that. I don't sing. I don't dance. I don't do that. That's not me. But and this is the metaphor of what we're talking about, but in their heart, they wish that they could, but society or judgment or whatever.
Yeah.
My son is the one that says, I'm doing this.
I'm doing this.
And then what blows my mind is the things he chooses to do, which are often stupid, sometimes harmful, certainly ill-advised.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Go ahead.
But
Yep.
everybody goes.
Yes.
What we as leaders, not necessarily men,
Yep.
but the people who choose to be leaders, what you're speaking of,
Yep.
is we, by going first into the scary part, which is vulnerability or intimacy, we actually we open up the gate to let the pool party is a perfect example.
Yep.
Everybody wants to get in the pool.
Everybody wants to get
Even
in
if
the
you
pool,
can't
bro.
swim, you
Even
want
if
to
you
be
can't
in the
swim,
pool.
you want to get in the water, man.
You want to.
Dude.
And that you don't because people
Come on.
will see you in your bathing suit and you don't feel confident.
Yes.
And if I do it, if
Yes.
nobody else, it's a dance floor. First
Totally.
person on the dance floor.
Totally.
We're not telling you what to do. The shepherd is a good example.
Yes.
But I like to think of it, rather than us leading people to do something, which we can do,
Yep.
we're giving permission for them to do what they want to do.
There's no question about it. And really we're saying the same thing. It's you really want to be the kind of person that is constantly giving people permission to be themselves. Giving people permission to be the better version of themselves. You're going to be a better version. You don't think...
Wait a minute, going back to what you're saying.
Yep.
Whether it's the better version or not, being the truthful version of themselves.
Which, look,
is usually better.
the truthful version is always better. You know why people get depressed?
Come on.
So I posted this thing yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Jim Carrey,
One of Robbie's favorite people.
is talking about how the being depressed and the reason why you've created this avatar of yourself and your body is done with the game. Your body, so he says, instead of looking at the word depressed, think of the word as deep rest. Your body needs deep rest to recover from this avatar that you've created of yourself, that it's tired of playing. It's waiting for you to be you, who you really are, and not this avatar that you've created for yourself.
I'm smiling because as you say this, I'm thinking about the moments of great leaps of growth that I've had.
Yep.
And I, unlike some of my friends, have miraculous things happen in my life.
Yep.
That I believe that I get in line with bigger things and manifest.
Yep.
But what usually is the beginning of that process for me is I get exhausted by the life I'm living, the lie I might be living. So there was a point in my life where I wasn't doing a lot of TV, but I lived as though that's what my main hustle was. Until one morning, I was exhausted, just literally physically tired. And I realized nobody's called me about TV in 3 or 4 years. And yet I'm living like that's what I do. And so this goes back to everything you're saying. So one, I need deep rest.
Yes.
I was depressed.
Yes.
I was tired and exhausted of living a not truth.
Yeah.
I'm living as though I'm this TV guy when in fact I don't work in TV at all.
Yep.
And the moment I said I quit that job before I think I'm fired from it and accept exactly what is, 2 weeks later I'm on a plane with Robbie going to Hawaii to do Temptation Island.
It's really, when the surrender of no longer playing a part in the charade. It's surrendering to that. That's how you really reclaim yourself. Because here's what happens, and I'm sure that this has happened to you. Often people will ask you, how you doing? How you doing? Really, what they're asking is, how's your career doing? Because they don't give a damn about
how's your bank account?
Yeah. What they're asking is, what are you working on?
Yes.
That will somehow impress me.
Right. What are you driving?
Yeah. So if you don't have any of that, because when I ask you how you're doing, first of all, I already know how you're doing because I have IMDb.
Yeah.
I know how your career is doing. So when I ask you how you're doing, I'm talking about the human being.
So I was gonna wordplay with you because we like language.
Yes.
The question is not how you doing.
Yeah.
How are you being?
Yes, that really is what it is.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I couldn't care. Look, other than your financial wellness and the ability to be able to sustain your family
and be happy,
I really don't care about your career. To be honest with you, if I'm being honest, I really don't care. All I care about is whether you have what you need in order to sustain your humanity. That's all I care about.
And I think that the people that want to know about your career want to know to compare your misery to theirs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, watch this.
What I really want to know is, are you doing worse than me?
Are you doing better or worse than me?
Yeah.
And can I use you as a measuring stick for my own accomplishments or success?
So I can feel worse or better about myself.
Period.
Yes.
It's so ridiculous.
Yes.
And I always, I can always tell the people who are, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, poor baby. You're still in that phase of life? Poor baby. Because watch this. Look at all of the people that we see as successful. I'll give you a better example. Okay. I have a client that I coach who he's won 8 Grammys as a producer, sold his catalog over $100 million. And we're sitting in his ginormous house.
Yeah.
We're sitting in his office. And I say, do you consider yourself to be a success?
Such a great coaching question to start with.
Oh, bro, I know how to set a fire.
Yes, you do.
Do you consider yourself to be a success? It's an obvious trick question.
Yeah.
It's an obvious trick question.
Right.
And he knew it because the immediate response was, well, because he knew.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah. And I said, interesting. So I jotted down something. He goes, do you? And I said, well, let me ask you a few more questions and then I want you to re-answer. Your wife wants to divorce you. Your children that live in your home have a fractured relationship with you.
They don't talk to you. Yeah.
Your child that lives all the way across the country has a fractured relationship with you and at times uninterested in connecting with you. And you're suffering from addictions, both alcohol and substance. do you consider yourself to be a success? And when I tell you, it was like immediate, like a flush came over, and he said, no. And I said, no, I wouldn't either. I would consider you, and that's what these 8 Grammys are behind me. The 8 Grammys say that you are accomplished in a specific area in life. He goes, I said, let me give you my definition of success.
Give it to me and to you.
Success is, because accomplishment is that success that you experience in your profession. But true success is when you find balance in both your professional and personal life. That is success. When you don't have all of your ducks lined up in your profession, and then your personal looks like trash. And we've seen, and I'm not going to name any names. You guys look at your current social media. Just go through your page. You'll see all of the people.
From the big to the little.
From the big to the little. Who you thought, let's just start with the big.
Yeah, they got it together.
Let's stick with the big.
Right.
Let's stick with the big. Because the little, let's stick with the big.
Yes.
Because everybody looks at them.
Yes.
And says, they got it all. They got all of what?
The things.
The stuff, the possessions. Okay? I don't know of a person, not one. I don't know of a person who lacks purpose, because your profession is probably not your purpose. It may be your passion, but that's different than your purpose.
Or your vocation.
Let me give you the difference,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Let me give you the difference. Passion and purpose. Passion serve you. Purpose serves others.
Preach.
So my career as an actor is my passion, but that serves me. Yeah, other people enjoy it, but it's still my passion.
There's shades of gray in all of that, but
There's
because it overlaps.
They can overlap.
When you're living your best passion, you could be of service.
They can absolutely overlap.
But it's a very important distinction.
But for the most part,
yes,
your passion usually is about you. That's why it's your passion.
that's why it turns you on.
So that serves you. Your passion will lead you to gain, your profession will lead you to gain a platform. To do what with? To serve you more? Your happiness, your true happiness as a human being is going to come. I study blue zones. You know what blue zones are?
No.
Blue zones are regions of the world that produce centurions.
Produce what?
Centurions, which are people who
People
live
who
to be 100 or above. Okay,
I've tripped on this
Okay.
too. Yeah. And there's no correlation to why they've lived to be centenarians.
Right. Yeah, right.
It's not the food they eat, whether they smoke. That's not it. Come on.
Yes. So is it centurions? Centurions. So they live to be 100 years or more, right? And all of the common threads. The one in particular that is the biggest, they serve a purpose.
I have. How many times have I preached this?
They serve a purpose.
That's right.
I have watched someone in my life, I'm not going to say who, but someone very close to me who I absolutely adore. And while they were working their job, they were pretty vibrant. And then they retired. And I watched their health rapidly decline.
And it happens in men even more than women. But that's exactly what the study I read said.
Yes.
And it's simply when you stop showing up,
yes,
you die.
Well, here's what happens. There's a physiological thing that happens because the inner monologue that you now have is, I serve no purpose.
Right.
So your
Therefore,
body,
what? Yeah.
So your body goes, oh,
We're done.
so we're done?
Yeah.
So why don't we just make this official?
Which
And you begin to quickly die.
now add that to the original people on the planet, possibly the Aborigines.
Yeah?
When they're done with their purpose,
Yes?
the originals, so legend says, would go off into the outback
Yeah.
and sit down and consciously shut down
Without a doubt.
their body.
No question about it.
And that looks so mystical and spiritual. Fact is, we do it all the time.
We do it every day.
Subconsciously.
We just don't have a ceremony.
Right.
But there are people who are actively dying every day. Actively dying every day.
Choosing to
Die every day.
Subconsciously choosing
Listen to me. These people with Okinawa, Japan,
Yes.
they call this
Ikigai.
Ikigai.
There's a great documentary on this
My
on
bro.
Netflix
Oh,
called
boy,
The Blue
welcome to
Zones.
Caleb stepping up.
They call it Ikigai. Ikigai loosely translated is mission, which is purpose.
Yes.
So as soon as we don't feel like we have purpose, we begin to die. That's what, by the way, okay, trick question for our audience.
Okay.
When are you most happiest? When you serve yourself or when you serve others?
You need to stop, because this is the phrase I say every time I give a speech.
Yep.
Every time I'm coaching.
Yep.
And it's not only that, it's what I have to remind myself to get myself
Yes.
back to center.
Yes.
Because we're in a business that takes us off center all the time.
Yes.
So when I talked about when I quit being a TV guy because I recognized the truth and then this thing happened. But there's more to that story, which was every time I felt myself uneasy, upset, worried about money and all that stuff, I decided to not dwell on that and shift my attention to being of service to others. Because the best version of us is when we're living our purpose. The best version of us, the healthiest version of us, is when we're in service of others. And that's why I say, and people say, I don't know where this exists. I don't have the power. I don't know how to be happy. I don't know how to be powerful. I'm like, you do it all the time. When your relative calls and needs you, right?
Yep.
And you show up in 3 a.m. to take care of them, you've got all the energy and all the ability in the world.
Yep.
Because that's the best version of you.
Yes.
What I coach to and what I hear you saying is learning how to personally access that by choice is when we can really make a difference and start moving mountains for others.
Well, think about this for a second. There are some people, just ask yourself, and everybody do this at home. Most of us feel like we were created by a being.
Okay.
Some spiritual higher.
Something bigger than us.
Something bigger than us, right? And I'm not going to break us up into sub-tribes now. So I'm just going to say, whatever you believe created your life, ask yourself this question. This higher being, first, let me start by saying this. I'm going to tell you why you weren't created. Because if you were created by a higher being, then that would probably mean that you have a higher calling. So let me tell you why you weren't created. You weren't created to have just a 9-to-5 job to get you a paycheck by the end of the week, pay your bills, trash yourself on Saturday and Sunday, hope that you survive so that you can do it all over again on Monday until you die.
That's not it.
That's not why you were created.
Oh,
particularly if you were created by a higher being. Because does that sound like a higher calling? I don't think so. Okay, so if you were created by a higher being and you have a higher calling, what is that? This is the reason why most people are unhappy, because most people do not know why they're here. Watch this. Imagine you get kidnapped. Somebody ties you up, blindfolds you, gags you, puts you in a van, drives you for, it feels like hours on end. They pull you out of this van. They put you on the side of the road and they said, you better not free yourself until you don't hear this van in the distance anymore. Do you understand? And you go, yes. Van drives off. And you wait to no longer hear that van. You finally begin freeing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You look around. There are no landmarks. Nothing is recognizable. There's no sign of civilization. what are some of the things that you might begin to feel? Anger, confusion, fear,
hopelessness,
all of those things. We just described maybe 85% of the population, maybe 90. Why? Because you're in a place in that particular state of being, you don't know why you're there.
Or how you got there.
Or how you're
going to get out.
We just described about 85% of the population.
That's it.
So when you are experiencing those kinds of people, there's no wonder that you're experiencing people who have road rage. There's no wonder you're experiencing people who are constantly frustrated and feel like they're like walking dead. They are. They don't know why they're here. Not one person I know who knows their purpose is unhappy. Not one person I know who doesn't know their purpose is happy. Even the ones who have all the stuff.
Yeah.
They've got possessions and no purpose.
So
especially the people with all the stuff.
Yeah.
Because they think that's going to fix their insides, and nothing from the outside can fix your insides.
That's right.
So let me wrap this up, because we're going to have you back if you'll come back.
Of course.
Because we got a lot to teach.
Of course, because we still have we got to still talk about.
We didn't talk about parenting yet.
We didn't even talk about our boys.
Yeah.
Bro, like the fact that you raised a freaking literal maverick, like this dude is a pilot in the Navy.
I make champions.
Bro. I want to talk about why we are centrally wired to do dangerous stuff. That's a whole conversation.
That's another conversation
and
about
why our sisters
our fear
are
of mortality.
actually not like that.
And why that works.
And why that
because we need that. I want to just finish this on one thought about purpose.
Yes.
Because what you said was both enlightening and could be daunting.
Yes.
If you don't get the definition. So I'm going to, if you don't mind me extrapolating this a little bit.
Yes.
I want to make it easy for both of my audience members.
Yes. But
I'll wait.
Bill and Brian.
That's right. And their cousins. By the way, from my tribe, they're the first ones in the pool. So what Dondre says is, without purpose, unhappy, with purpose, happy, which could bring you to the question of, but what is my purpose?
Oh my gosh.
Let me make this simple for you. You don't have to define that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're of service, even there is no small service or big service. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
When you're out of yourself and into something bigger than you, and that's what you're doing, that's your purpose in that moment. And your purpose doesn't have to be one thing or stay one thing. And one purpose is not bigger. Curing cancer is a great purpose.
Yes.
Making a good lunch for your kid is equally as important and equally and as powerfully available to you to be happy. Fair to say?
Fair to say. I will give them Brian and Barry. Let me help them to
take us home.
Discover what purpose might be for them.
Take it home.
I wrote a book called Male versus Man because I wanted grown males and men to further matriculate into manhood.
The difference between just male by gender and
That's
man
right.
as what that means.
Male was already chosen for you.
Yeah.
Male is something I was born. Man is something I become. Because I live my life based on principles of being dedicated to being of service. You understand? So, but this whole thing came about as a direct result of me not having the kind of relationship that I longed to have with my father, who was locked up by me being the age of 13 years old.
You've shared this
right?
with me. Yeah.
So here's what I want you guys to get. Figure out what you're most in pain about. And then whatever it is that you're most in pain about, that you want to eradicate, is probably going to be your purpose in life.
Let's stop with that. Dondre Whitfield. The book is Male versus Man, Amazon bestseller in 3 categories.
Yes, sir.
So you pick one and pick it up. And we'll do this again if you'll have me.
Let's go.
Yeah.
My
I
brother,
love you.
My brother.
Yeah.
I love you.
I know you do.
Yes, sir.
I love you too. We'll see you next time.